Thanks and welcome to ESPN College Football presented by Cars.com from McLean Stadium in Waco, the 105th meeting of Baylor and Texas. The Bears have won 2 straight in the series. They've never defeated the Longhorns 3 consecutive times. Baylor playing for a spot in a New Year's Six bowl. With Tom Luganville, Laura Rutledge down on the field. I'm Dave Pasch. A beautiful day for football. The first weekend of December here in Texas. The Longhorns won the toss, elected to defer, so Baylor, the best offense statistically in college football, will get it first, and the Bears will start on their 25 after a touchback. And welcome to the booth. We mentioned that there's still a lot at stake, Tom, for Baylor. Even with the loss last week to TCU, they can't win the Big 12, but they can get into a New Year's Six bowl. And for Texas, other than the win against Oklahoma, it's been an embarrassing year for the Longhorns.
Well, it certainly has, and everything's being evaluated today. Players, scheme, the coaching staff. Charlie Strong's got a lot on his plate today as he prepares his team for the season finale. And then going forward over the next 2 months, a lot's going to be made of the performance of today.
And there's Chris Johnson making his second career start at quarterback for Baylor. Struggled last week in the rain at TCU, threw for only 62 yards, the fewest at Baylor since 2002. And here's Corey Coleman, and he gets a first down. He only had 1 catch last week for 8 yards. That was for more than 8 yards, but a penalty marker is down at the 28-yard line. He was a redshirt last year, played 4 games at quarterback, then was moved to receiver when Jarrett Stidham committed to Baylor, but Stidham is hurt. He filled in for Seth Russell.
Holding. Offense number 13. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay first down.
I don't know that I've ever seen holding called on the quarterback. Have you?
No, I've never seen holding called on the quarterback. And now instead of a nice easy throw and sitting in third and short, you're spread out here in first and 20.
All right, now they're saying it was on Gus Penning, the tight end, even though they announced 13. Here's Shock Linwood, who's now over 1,300 yards on the season. He gets a few back, tackled by Jason Hall. Johnson is a sophomore from Bryan, Texas. Played very well in the second half against Oklahoma State in their win on the road a couple of weeks ago. Over the middle, the pass is caught for a first down by Corey Coleman at the 36-yard line for 15 yards.
Nice early rhythm throw here to the boundary off of the token fake, the slant route, thrown very well. These are the simple throws that were very difficult to accomplish last week for Chris Johnson in a driving rainstorm.
They're going to run it on first down as Coleman gets the handoff. Really trying to get Corey Coleman involved here. He picks up 8 yards. It's senior day here in Waco, obviously. Corey Coleman's a junior, but he ran out with the seniors. So he's going to the NFL. He's a Biletnikoff Award finalist along with Josh Dotson and Laquan Treadwell. He leads the nation in touchdown catches, but none the last 3 games. Here's Chris Johnson on the run, picks up the first down into Texas territory and pushed out of bounds at the 40-yard line.
Now, Dave, these are the types of plays that you don't necessarily get from Jarrett Stidham or Seth Russell from the 6'5", 235-pounder. The quarterback run game, he's so physical now. With a walk-on behind him, they want to be careful from a health standpoint, but this is his game. It adds an extra element for Baylor offensively.
And Linwood driven into the ground by true freshman Brecken Hager. Texas has a ton of injuries on defense. Malik Jefferson, their normal starter at middle linebacker, is out with an ankle injury. So Hager, whose older brother Bryce played in Baylor, is getting the start. On 2nd and 10, Linwood again, and he breaks a tackle inside the 30. Actually going to mark him down at the 30, so he'll be short. 3rd down and 1 coming up. Baylor 9-2, seeking a 3rd straight 10-win season. And they try to hammer it between the tackles, and Texas stout up front. Poona Ford on the stop, and he lost a half-yard. 4th down.
I think if you're Baylor, with how you've run the football at will on this drive, you go for it. You know what you're going to get out of Texas offensively with their struggles. Run the football, whether it's quarterback by design, hand off to Shock Linwood, rely on that offensive front.
And Linwood is knocked down right at the first down marker. He appears to be short. The head linesman marking him short just past the 30. He had to get past the 29. It will be Texas ball. Longhorns needed something good to happen early. Heavy underdogs here on the road. They get a stop on 4th down. First time Baylor has not scored an opening drive touchdown all season. And so Tyrone Swoops, who started the opener but then was benched in favor of Gerard Hurd, will start this game because Hurd was not 100% coming into the week of practice. But Gerard Hurd, who suffered a concussion last week, is eligible to play. He cleared all concussion protocol, and we will see him today. Here's a run to Chris Warren on 1st down, and Warren is up near the 38-yard line. It's a gain of close to 9 for true freshman Chris Warren.
You see Gerard Hurd, who suffered a concussion versus Texas Tech. He has been cleared to play, practiced throughout the week. Expect a change up with more spread elements with Gerard Hurd, as we're seeing Tyrone Swoops start this drive with Chris Warren at tailback.
And Warren, who set the Texas freshman record with 276 yards on the ground last week, gets the 1st down. He had 4 touchdowns in that game.
You've got to expect Chris Warren to carry a heavy load. Jonathan Gray cleared to play. Didn't get the start today. Deontay Foreman out for the season. A thin group at the running back position, but also a very talented one in Warren.
Baylor stacking the box here, expecting run. It's play action, and Swoops lobbing it downfield. It's caught inside the 30 by Caleb Blewett. Blewett inside the 10, and he is in for the Texas touchdown. "57 yards for just the 9th passing touchdown for Texas all year."
See if he gets in here, Dave, as he's leaning and extending for the goal line. Let's check and see his knee. That is not down on that replay there, Dave.
No, it didn't look like it touched. It may second guess now whether you go to Gerard Hurd, just because Swoops made that nice throw there for the touchdown. Nick Rose on for the point after here for the Longhorns. And so Baylor playing for a spot likely in the Sugar Bowl, down 7-0 early. And Texas has not won a game under Charlie Strong unless it scores first, so that obviously was important. We get a touchback here, and let's bring in the 3rd member of our crew, Laura Rutledge.
Well, Dave, Kendall Briles said that they aren't judging Chris Johnson, the quarterback for Baylor, off of his performance last week in brutal weather conditions, but they are judging him off of what they'll see today. Briles said he wants Johnson to execute. He wants him to get the ball in the hands of playmakers like Corey Coleman. And Johnson told me his focus today is on staying relaxed, staying within his game, and not getting away from that. He thinks he can be very successful if he does that.
Well, nobody knows what the weather was like last week more than the guy standing next to me. He was in your spot, Laura, at that game at TCU last Friday. It was rough on everybody, including Chris Johnson. Had those lost fumbles as well. And they hand it off here to Johnny Jefferson across the 30-yard line. A 5-yard pickup before Devontae Davis brings him down. It was a struggle last week for both teams. Nobody scored on offense from the middle of the 1st quarter until overtime. Jefferson dragged down at the point of attack. Bryce Cottrell made the stop. And so another 3rd down here for Baylor.
And the positive here for Texas is a field position advantage. If you can hold here, give that offense off of a punt an opportunity with great offensive field position. Big defensive stand here.
Vance Bedford, the defensive coordinator, as Jefferson is close to the 1st down. They're going to mark him just short. It'll be 4th and 1. Baylor already went for it on 4th down in Texas territory. I'd be surprised if Art Briles went for it here, right?
Be very surprised. Yeah, sure does.
Now you got to punt this ball, and they will. Briles is going to call timeout to talk more about this. That's the signal he was making toward the official. Let's see. No.
Ooh, looks like he waved it off.
So now it'll be interesting to see if Texas goes back to swoops or if Gerard Hurd comes in here.
Yeah, it certainly is. And hopefully for Texas, you're going to get tremendous field position. DJ Johnson, number 4, the punt returner, averaging 11.1 yards per return.
And Johnson under it, and the fair catch made at the 36-yard line. Texas ball and a 7-0 lead. Back in Waco, where Texas is on top early on 7-0. Let's bring Laura Rutledge back in from the field.
Dave, we've seen Tyrone Swoops have early success for Texas at the quarterback spot. And Charlie Strong told me before the game that we could see Gerard Hurd as early as the second series. Now, Hurd has not had a helmet. He's not going to come in this second series for Texas offensively. But Charlie Strong said the thought was they wanted to give Baylor as much to plan for defensively. They've had success early with Swoops. We'll see where they go from here.
Yeah, and in talking with Charlie also, Laura, he said, look, Gerard's good to go. So this must be because of the success that Texas had on an opening drive.
Well, and you want to maintain the confidence right now of Tyrone Swoops. He just throws a touchdown, doesn't make any negative plays. You got tremendous field position here. He's not backed up. So why not keep him in there? Use Gerard Hurd on an as-needed basis.
Now a flea flicker. Swoops in trouble, gets leveled as he fires it too long. He had Marcus Johnson. There was pressure from Xavier Howard, a corner in the face of Swoops on the throw.
Well, as you see Tyrone Swoops throw this football off the flea flicker, he's going to get rushed just off of the edge right there. He throws the ball, just doesn't put enough air under it for Johnson, number 7, and misses. You see the hit, the pressure underneath the chin defensively. Chris Warren, again, the freshman back in there for protection. That's a missed opportunity down the field for an easy score.
Swoops to the air again on 2nd down and 10. And it's caught at the 40-yard line. Doja Johnson dragged out of bounds at the 31. That's the 35th catch of the season for Johnson.
This is just a nice flat route, turns into a hitch right there outside the numbers for Doja Johnson. Luckily for Tyrone Swoops, he was quick with the throw on time, or that thing could have gone the other way. But again, confident. 2 out of the last 3 completed. Now you're in plus 31 territory. Offense is humming.
The 19-yard pass play. Look at the numbers for Swoops so far. Swoops sliding up. He's hit. He escapes. And Swoops has the first down inside the 15. And at 245 pounds, Swoops able to break a tackle and get to the 9 for 1st and goal.
Well, he's able to evade Sean Oakman, number 2, off the edge of defensive end, working against freshman Connor Williams, 55. And the most important things Tyrone Swoops does right here is not throw the football late over the middle in the red zone. Tuck the ball, use that strength as a runner, put your team in position, maintain that scoring field position for the offense. You convert on 1st down here, Dave, and now you're in where that run game package for the 18-wheeler that they call it in Texas comes into play.
Well, Swoops has 11 rushing touchdowns in the season. Many of those have come in goal-to-go situations. He's going to pull it back and throw. Boy, that should have been picked. Trevon Blanchard dropped the ball in the end zone. He's got good hands. He has a couple of picks as a nickelback this year. Should have had his 3rd.
Swoops predetermined this read and was going to throw it regardless of whether or not he was open. Great play action in the backfield. He threw it to Blanchard as if Blanchard was the intended target. And exactly what I said, Dave, that Tyrone did not do on the previous play. He puts his offense in danger there, narrowly escapes that one.
Swoops, a junior. White right, Texas. 2nd and goal. He's going to run here. Design quarterback run. He's got the corner, and he's dragged down at the 5-yard line. Taylor Young on the stop. So they're in 3rd and goal from around the 5 here. And if you're Texas, you got 7 losses. Are you playing this knowing that Baylor can score as if you're in 4-down territory?
Well, you feel pretty good about your defense right now in terms of how they've performed to this point. Points are points right now, and this is a Texas offense that's had a hard time coming by points. So depending on where they are off of this 3rd down, that's going to be an interesting decision for Charlie Strong.
Swoops to the air. Has a ton of time, and it is incomplete through the hands of John Burt. And Swoops hobbling to the sideline. He was injured when he was dragged down in that 2nd down play, so the Longhorns will settle for a field goal try. The
attempt to get this to John Burt along the back end zone. He gets kind of nestled in there with the defensive backs, able to separate late, but an incompletion, and Charlie Strong not happy about it. Well, he was really upset with that incompletion there on the back end line.
Nick Rose on for a 23-yard field goal attempt. At a tough angle here. Got to make it 10-zip. And Rose puts it through. It is all Texas through the first 10 minutes here in Waco. Last home game for the Baylor seniors, including 410-pound Laquan McGowan. You also saw Spencer Drango and Sean Oakman getting hugs from Mark Briles. This has been a terrific senior class. 11 wins each of the last 2 years, a pair of Big 12 titles, 9 wins this year. They trail Texas 10-0 here in the first quarter. As the offensive issues continue with Chris Johnson in the quarterback. And another touchback as we bring Laura in from the field for the latest on Swoops, who was banged up last drive. Well, the season started with Seth Russell, and remember, he was taking over for Bryce Petty, an excellent quarterback. Russell got off to a great start, then injured his neck. Jarrett Stidham comes in, plays well. He gets hurt. Chris Johnson in the second half wins the Oklahoma State game, but they lost here at home against Oklahoma, their first loss in this stadium. There's Stidham, who could be back for the bowl game, by the way. Play fake for Johnson. Tries to zip it in there to Jay Lee, and it's broken up. Incomplete.
Now, if there's any belief in the notion that this is a plug-and-play system, there's some validity to that with Baylor. They've done it from Case Keenum and back at Houston under Art Brow to all the quarterbacks you've seen here at Baylor during his tenure.
Johnson keeping it, and he fumbles the ball. It's still loose. Durango had a shot to recover it at the 18-yard line. Durango was on top of it, but did it scored away from him again? Duke Thomas knocked it out for Texas. Johnson has had all kinds of trouble hanging onto the ball, and apparently Durango lost it under the pile. It's Texas ball. Lost fumbles last week against TCU, and Anthony Wheeler comes up with it here. A takeaway for Texas in the red zone. And Chris Johnson is down. You see that shot to the leg there. It was Thomas who made the hit, and then P.J. Locke forced the fumble. But they're looking at Johnson at the 25-yard line.
He takes 2 shots, one low from Duke Thomas, number 21. Then P.J. Locke comes up and takes him while he's elevated. And that's what really delivers the blow and dislodges the football.
And in talking with Art Briles last week and asked him, hey, if Chris Johnson gets hurt, who comes into the game at quarterback? He said, I have no idea. They have Zach Benham, a true freshman walk-on. They could move Lynx Hawthorne, a wide receiver, to quarterback. We'll see if Chris Johnson is back out there when Baylor's back on offense. Hurd back to work, hands it off to Warren, and Warren is met at the line of scrimmage and driven back. Ryan Reed on the stop. They'll give him a yard. 2nd down and 9. Here's Warren again, and in trouble in the backfield on another play. Well, Baylor's defense rising to the challenge. Reed pushes him out at the 19 for a 1-yard loss. So 3rd and long coming up here for Texas.
92 Jamal Palmer, 96 Byron Bonds along the defensive front with a flag down. Does an excellent job stringing that outside zone play to the sideline.
A penalty flag down as well. Appeared to be a late flag.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 95 of the defense.
Wow.
That penalty will be half the distance to the goal and an automatic 1st down. That's number 95's first unsportsmanlike foul of the game.
So if you're Bo Blackshear, you just killed your team on senior day. You have them in 3rd and long. Instead, you do something stupid like that after the play, and Texas gets the ball 1st and goal at the 10.
Well, and these are the type of plays as Tyrone Swoops comes back into the game for Texas. these are the types of plays that are going to get you the opportunity to win this football game. You got to take advantage of them.
Must have said something. He didn't hit anybody. You saw him in your screen. May have said something to the official. Here's Swoops in the game, getting to the outside and getting into the end zone. Texas up 16-0.
Well, Dave, this is what they call their 18-wheeler package with Tyrone Swoops in the direct snap, Alex De La Torre at the fullback position, number 47, Andrew Beck at the other tight end position. Quarterback power. They ran 3 plays in a row in a goal line situation versus Oklahoma. This is the changeup to Gerard Hurd, and certainly very productive here in the red zone, Dave.
That's 12 rushing touchdowns on the season for Swoops. The point after makes it 17-0, and with all these injuries at quarterback, I mean, normally 17-0 deficit is nothing for Baylor, but with Seth Russell out, injured October 24th against Iowa State with a neck injury, and then Jarrett Stidham going down in the Oklahoma State game with a broken ankle, although he could return for the bowl game. And now today, Chris Johnson, after fumbling the ball, gets hit low, and then the ball comes out, gets drilled up top by a lock. He's on the Baylor sideline. You wonder if the Bears can score at all, depending on who's in the game at quarterback. Will it be true freshman Zach Benema? There's Stidham. Lynx Hawthorne, a wide receiver who played quarterback in high school and threw that pass on a trick play earlier. He was warming up on the sideline.
And that's Kendall Briles, the offensive coordinator at Baylor. You see talking to Hawthorne there. And the surprising thing maybe, Dave, is that even with Chris Johnson offensively, there haven't been any attempts in the passing game to stretch the field with this explosive Baylor offense. So now are you going to manufacture him with Lynx Hawthorne? We will see.
See, his numbers as a high school junior there were solid. And Chris Johnson can move from receiver to quarterback. Lynx Hawthorne can move back. Now, when you got a running back like Shock Linwood, that can take care of some of your passing ills, and we'll see how much work Linwood gets. He's not 100% though. He was banged up last week, had only 58 yards in the TCU game. And here is Linwood with a huge hole off the left side. Gets slammed down at the 42, but that's a 17-yard run for Linwood.
Texas loses contain and loses the edge to the field side. And a big run there, even though they had the numbers in the box to defend it.
Hawthorne keeping, slips a tackle. Hawthorne has the first down into Texas territory. Bumped out at the 42-yard line by Jason Hall. The 17-yard scamper by Hawthorne. Kendall Briles, a Broyles Award candidate, one of 5, goes to the top assistant in college football. He's in his first year as the offensive coordinator, took over play calling in the Cotton Bowl last year. As Hawthorne throws it deep and throws a pick right to Duke Thomas in double coverage. Thomas across the 35, and Hawthorne tackles him. The Texas players don't like it. And look out here. This is a 100-year-old rivalry. The Baylor players have come onto the field. They've run from the Baylor sideline. This could get ugly. A flag flies. Coach is getting in to break things up.
You're going to see the end of the play right here. Lynx Hawthorne, who throws the interception, subbing in for Chris Johnson, throws down Duke Thomas, number 21 there, and then you see the push in the back off of the sideline.
Well, Vaccaro stepped on Hawthorne as well there.
And again, this is all occurring on the sideline of the Texas Longhorns.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 18 of Texas. It'll be a 15-yard penalty. It'll be first down. That's number 18's first unsportsmanlike.
See, watch
of the game.
Vaccaro there. He came from the bench and he fell what appeared to be on purpose on Hawthorne.
You're going to see him right there. He's not even in the field of play, Dave. Now watch him come off the field. He's going to come off, and he's going to be onto the playing field here. Well, that's just poor discretion right there, Dave. Well, and credit the coaching staffs and really the support staff, as you saw for Baylor running over there quickly to try and get a handle on that little melee.
And Texas will keep it on the ground with Warren, but he's going nowhere. Stood up by Taylor Young. Oakman was there as well for the Bears. And what could be the final play of the quarter. Well, we thought that this thing could get sideways, but that it might go the other way. Instead, it's 17-0 Texas after one. Start of the second quarter, Gerard Hurd going to work. And Hurd getting out of the pocket and slides to the 28-yard line. I'll mark him at the 27, a pickup of 3 on the play. So how about Baylor going scoreless in the first quarter? That's the first time that's happened since they last played Texas at home 2 years ago. So 3rd down and 8 coming up. Texas 1 of 3 on 3rd down. Baylor needs a stop. Got to get some momentum back here at home. They jumped offside but got back on before the snap. Play clock at 1. Hurd on the rollout. And nowhere to go, so he throws it away. So Texas will have to punt. And Corey Coleman's going to go return punts. Normally, Lynx Hawthorne's the punt returner, but because he's playing quarterback now.
Right now, Dave, they're just trying to preserve bodies if you're Baylor.
Texas coming in 4-7 on the year. 7th in the Big 12 at 3-5. Baylor at 9-2. Coleman under it. And fair caught at the 28-yard line. Who'll be in at quarterback for Baylor this time? Find out when we come back. They're down to their 4th quarterback, so they're going to run Devin Chafin here, and he gets positive yardage 4 to the 32. Let's check in with Laura.
Kendall Briles really challenging Corey Coleman, telling him if you get the opportunity to make a big play, we really need you to make it right now. And then looking at Lynx Hawthorne saying Corey's going to be your best option. Guys, I talked to Corey this week. He said he was frustrated being on his 3rd quarterback. Now he's on his 4th.
Here's Chafin. And he gets maybe a couple. 3rd and long coming up. All right, pal, here it's 17-0 Texas. Baylor hasn't lost 2 straight since 2012. There's Lynx Hawthorne rolling out, throws into traffic, another interception. It's Jason Hall on the return inside the 30. Flags are down. Hall inside the 20. Hall knocked out of bounds near the 10, and there's a fight going on at the 30-yard line between Corey Coleman and P.J. Locke. Locke's helmet ripped off. There are 3 penalty flags down.
Dave, I was watching that one from the very get-go. The moment the ball was intercepted, P.J. Locke, as he should do, turned and looked up the next Baylor man, and that man happened to be number 1, Corey Coleman, and it turned into a tussle from word go.
Following the interception, holding, return team number 11. That'll be a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. It'll be 1st down, Texas.
That's interesting. They threw 3 penalty flags, and all they called was the hold. Maybe the officials missed it, but we clearly saw it while it was going on live.
Really interesting call there, Dave. You're right. You see the turnover right here. Number 31, Jason Hall, who's had himself a wonderful game. You see the blocking as well from his teammates at Texas, and he finds the nearest sideline. And once again, without the penalty, you're in great shape offensively, Texas. You see just to the right of your screen here at the bottom. That's where they're starting to get after it right there. P.J. Locke, and keep in mind the melee earlier on the sideline, Dave, he was involved in that as well.
Right.
Coming from the sideline between Baylor and Texas players off of the previous interception that Lynx Hawthorne had thrown for Baylor.
And so Texas after another turnover. From the 40-yard line of Baylor, Warren again stood up by Blanchard. A 1-yard pickup. Dave Pash, Tom Luganbill, and Laura Rutledge here in Waco with a spot in the Sugar Bowl at stake for Baylor, but because of injuries, the Bears down to their 4th quarterback, and they are trailing Texas 17-0. A lot of speculation about what coaches will be brought back for Texas after this game is over. Charlie Strong has been under fire all year. Their biggest win, of course, was against Oklahoma. They thought they would take off after that, but they've lost 2 of 3. But even if you're down to your 4th quarterback and you can say we beat Oklahoma and Baylor in the same season. Swoops throwing it out on the flat. And stumbling is Burt. He could not get back to the line of scrimmage.
The overall design of that play right there, Dave, was outstanding. You've got 2-on-2 on the perimeter. Get the ball into the hands of your best playmaker, John Burt. Got all the numbers defensively over to the play side off of the fake, and they can't execute it. This has been the single consistent issue with this offense. They'll go in spurts of looking really good, look like they've got semblance of order, and then have plays just like that.
Well, there's been talk that Charlie Strong is going to have conversations tonight with some of his offensive coaches about their future. Speculation is that Jay Norvell and some of the other assistants will not be retained. And he's going to keep it, and he stood up at the line of scrimmage. Hit hard by Andrew Billings for no gain. 4th down and 4.
I go back to the previous comment we made in relationship to capitalizing on this area of the field, how many points 3 points actually is to Texas. We've watched Baylor. You get 3 here. Next thing you know, it's 3 touchdowns and 3 extra points just for Baylor to be able to take the lead. From what we've seen so far, Dave, that's a tall order.
Yeah. Just wonder if how many first downs that Baylor can get. Approaching 2 minutes to go. It's a 53-yard attempt. Again, he just missed from 53. And this one is good. It's 20-0 Texas. Nick Rose, a 53-yarder. Stick around at halftime. Laura Rutledge will talk with Art Briles. The Longhorns trying to finish their season 5-7. Lead Baylor at halftime 20-0.
Coach, what can you tell us about the status of Chris Johnson right now?
No, I really hadn't heard anything since he went in, so I just know he took a shot on the head, and that's where we're at right now.
What's your plan for quarterback going forward?
Lynx, you know, and we'll get out here and try to get some points and come out of this thing to win.
Thank you, Coach.
A spot in the Sugar Bowl at stake for Baylor, a New Year's 6 game, but the Bears being shut out at halftime, 20-0 and down to their 4th quarterback. With Tom Luganbill, Dave Pash, Laura Rutledge will rejoin us shortly. All right, so you heard Art Briles tell Laura Rutledge that we're going to go with Lynx Hawthorne at quarterback. He's a receiver, as was Chris Johnson. So how do you handle things now?
Well, they really have no choice. A lot of programs struggle to put a fine player at the quarterback position on the field for the 1st or 2nd quarterback. With this injury to Chris Johnson, now you're left to completely changing your entire offensive strategy of how you're going to move the football. So Chris Johnson goes down. He is woozy, will not return. You see, he didn't have his helmet when he came back onto the stadium. That's generally an indicator. So here's where we really have the issue for Kendall Briles, the offensive coordinator. How do you move the football through the air and your substitution gets affected because Lynx Hawthorne, a receiver, is now at quarterback?
Baylor actually had more yards of total offense than Texas, but 3 turnovers, a lost fumble on that injury to Chris Johnson, and then Hawthorne throwing 2 interceptions. Touchback, Texas will start in the 25. Here's Laura.
Dave, as you guys mentioned, Chris Johnson out officially for this game with concussion-like symptoms. And over on the Texas side of things, Charlie Strong said he's pleased with the way they've taken advantage of Baylor's issues at quarterback, but he will never count out this Bears offense. He also said he plans to continue to play both Tyrone Swoops and Gerard Hurd at quarterback, but Swoops is still a little banged up with a thigh injury, so you might see more of Hurd in the second half.
And Swoops will start the second half, Laura, and you know, again, Baylor, yes, I understand what Charlie's saying. You got to say the right thing, but with Lynx Hawthorne at quarterback, you wonder if they can even get first downs.
Right. There's no question about it, and that's what his offense needs to do right now, get off to a fast start after deferring in the first half.
See the numbers for Swoops: passing touchdown and a rushing score in that first half. They're going to keep it on the ground with Warren, and he is out to the 29-yard line. It's a run of about 4 for Warren, who had 66 yards on the ground in that first half. Warren, a true freshman who's starting and running back because of injury to Jonathan Gray and Deontay Foreman. He's made the most of his opportunity. Set the Texas freshman record a week ago with 276 yards on the ground. They'll get it here on second down, and he's across the 30, and that's it. So third down coming up. Taylor Young on the stop.
Now, defensively, if you're Baylor, what's difficult to do is not to let your motions start to boil to the surface because you're frustrated with the offense's inability to move the ball. Now you end up being on the field an awful lot. So when an offense is struggling, things aren't going your way, it can permeate the entire sideline, the entire football team.
Well, if you get a takeaway, that would certainly fire up the sideline. Baylor's been very good at that this season, in the top 20 in takeaways, but the last few games they haven't been able to create turnovers. And here's Swoops on the run, and he's got nowhere to go. Planted at the line of scrimmage. Fourth down, 3 and out for Texas to start. Phil Bennett's defense coming up with a stop.
Credit that defensive front, anchored by Andrew Billings, number 75, playing on Texas's side of the line of scrimmage. A really good job at the point of attack right there. And for, again, the best opportunity here is field position early for Baylor on offense.
For Corey Coleman, who'd only returned 3 punts on the season coming in because of Hawthorne having to play quarterback, they can't get him hurt. They got Coleman back returning punts. And the fair catch made at the 30-yard line. So Baylor down 20-0 on offense for the first time in the third when we come back. Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by Cars.com. With Tom Luganville, Laura Rutledge, I'm Dave Pasch in Waco. Ryan Greasy at the Big Ten Championship tonight to receive the Big Ten Leadership Award. Congrats to Grease for
it's a major award
for all his good on-time Christmas storyline, for all his humanitarian efforts with Judy's house in Denver. Congratulations, Grease. See you in the postseason. And Johnny Jefferson taking the direct snap on the first play this half for Baylor. He gets a first down to the 42-yard line.
Well, you asked about the wrinkles. What can they do? These are the types of things that you do. You come up with different ways. Now, Johnny there, Jefferson's going to stay at quarterback in the Wildcat set.
You see Hawthorne, he's at the bottom of your screen in the slot, number 7. He was the guy that was in there playing quarterback in the second quarter. Here's Jefferson again off the right side, and Jefferson gets clocked after a 9-yard run by P.J. Locke. It'll be 2nd and 1. Well, Art Briles maybe changed his mind. He said to Laura at halftime it's going to be Lynx Hawthorne, but 3 straight plays of Johnny Jefferson. Looking for a running lane. He gets a block and picks up the first down. Boy, Jarrell Broxton, the right guard, absolutely unloaded on a Texas D lineman to open up that hole.
That might have been as much of a tackle as it was a block for Baylor up front.
Yeah, the Texas sideline wanted a holding call. So now Devin Chafin is in, getting the direct snap here. He's got Feuerbacher at tight end blocking for him. And he's inside the 40 down to the 39-yard line. Paul Boyette on the stop, but they get another handful on the ground.
It's like a clear message was sent to this offensive unit in the locker room. We're going to line up and we're going to go mano-a-mano and see if Texas can hold up at the point of attack. We're going to give them everything we got with different dimensions and different backs.
That's Terrence Williams at running back. Williams was the one taking the direct snap. He is a redshirt freshman who does have a rushing touchdown. Like Chafin, he's a big back. He's 215, 220 pounds. And here he goes, spinning out of a tackle, getting the first down to the 31 is Terrence Williams.
Terrence Williams, a big, tall back, but does a nice job with his pad level, keeping low, spinning out of an arm tackle, falling forward. He's a lot like Chris Warren in terms of physical stature on the Texas side.
And the best drive of the game so far for Baylor. Williams into over the 25-yard line, down about the 23. Nashawn Hughes on the tackle. Williams, a guy that hasn't gotten a ton of carries this year just because there's so much depth at the running back position, but getting the bulk of the work here on this possession as a quarterback. They've run 6 plays, all on direct snaps to a running back. 2nd and 1. And Williams has a first down to the 20. Brought down by Brecken Hager, true freshman linebacker.
If this is the approach that Baylor is going to take, the onus is going to go on the perimeter players, the Katie Cannons, their Corey Colemans, and the Jay Lees to maintain their perimeter blocks, because if they're not going to be involved in the passing game, they can't just trot off the ball anymore. This is Baylor's offense.
Lynx Hawthorne is in there now at quarterback, so at least there's the threat of a pass. Don't know if we'll see one. Well, he's going to hand it off. Jefferson inside the 15, breaks a tackle. Touchdown, Baylor. And finally, McLean Stadium comes alive as Baylor is back in the game. Johnny Jefferson with his 5th rushing touchdown of the season. 8 plays, 69-yard scoring drive, all run plays. 20-7 Texas.
What a statement for Baylor. After Texas receives the ball, they come right back. Consecutive run plays. It's all Baylor Bears on the ground. Texas better come with an answer if they want to keep the lead over the Bears.
Well, technically, Baylor's now used 6 different quarterbacks this year, because they went direct snap to Johnny Jefferson and Terrence Williams that entire scoring drive. Each carried it 4 times. Jefferson gets the touchdown, and Baylor is finally on the board. Chris Johnson made his 2nd straight start. He was knocked out of the game because of a concussion. Lynx Hawthorne came in through 2 picks. He's a receiver, basically. We'll see if we see more of him. Here's Newsom on the return. Over the 20-yard line. And knocked out of bounds at the 24. Jefferson from 20 yards out gets Baylor back in it. And a trick play here, a pitch to Johnson on the end around. He's across the 35-yard line to pick up the first down. Well, you thought they'd have to come back with something. That was a nice job there.
Well, that's what these offenses morphed into, as you see Terrence Williams with the big drive for Baylor on the previous drive. Is now the jet sweep is that toss forward. So if something bad happens in the backfield, it's an incomplete pass. Good first down addition there for Texas.
Tyrone Swoop started the game. He started the 2nd half, and he's going to throw it here on first down. Into traffic. It's caught in Baylor territory by Johnson, with Chance Waz in coverage, and it's a pickup of 17.
Jay Johnson just goes up and gets it. Cradle catches it right in front of Chance Waz, and the flat underneath defender there, number 48, Trevon Blanchard, unable to make the play.
Chris Warren stood up by Jamal Palmer. A good player on that Baylor defensive line. Oakman and Billings get all the credit, but Palmer, a guy that missed most of last year with an knee injury, he's had a terrific season for the Bears. A senior playing his final home game. Swoops, rolling to his right, incomplete. Diving attempt by Beck, but he'd have to dive pretty far to catch that ball. 3rd and long.
when you're going to make those naked type actions in the backfield, you've got to snap your head around and sprint to the mark if you're Tyrone Swoops, so you can account for that free rusher off the edge. And it didn't allow for an accurate throw for Swoops to get his shoulder square to the line of scrimmage.
Oakman looking to tee off and get after the quarterback here on 3rd and 9. Play clock at 1. Swoops steps up and runs and bounces forward. He'll be short of the first down of the 42. It'll be 4th down and 3. Will Texas go for it? Meanwhile, Taylor Young shaken up for Baylor. Oakman also slow to get up.
You're the Texas Longhorns. You punt this thing. You do everything in your power to get that ball inside the 10-yard line and put an offense on the field that has a quarterback who's a receiver or a tailback taking a direct snap and cannot throw the football. Back him up.
True freshman Michael Dixon, his first year of playing American football. He's from Sydney, played Australian rules football his entire life until this year. Corey Coleman is deep. Again, Lynx Hawthorne, normally the punt returner, but because of his move to quarterback, they got Coleman as the deep man. And that is a terrific punt. Now checked up. It'll end up outside the 10, but that's exactly what Charlie Strong had in mind. And so Baylor backed up, but back in the game. Baylor with its worst starting field position. Lynx Hawthorne will take the snap and throw it. Here's Coleman out in space. Stays in bounds, then knocked out after a gain of about 6 to the 17-yard line. Coleman, a Bolitnikoff Award finalist. They're trying to get it in his hands. That's the first pass play this half. That touchdown drive, all run plays.
Look what that does for you too, Dave, though. 2nd down. Now you're in great play calling situation.
So that first drive saved the touchdown run. It was all direct snaps to either Jefferson or Williams that have gone back now to Hawthorne at the quarterback spot. Filling in for the injured, Chris Johnson, Stidham, and Russell. 4th string quarterback. Run play as Jefferson gets the first down to the 24, 7 more yards.
Well, and the play selection is essentially the same. It's just different as to who's handing the ball off. Jefferson still carrying the ball. Execution up front is the same, and now you're seeing a little bit more tempo with Hawthorne.
8-minute mark of the 3rd quarter. And again, so much at stake still for Baylor. They don't have a lot of 10-win seasons around here. And I know lately, back-to-back, but prior to 2011, they only had 1. That was back in 1980. A spot on the Sugar Bowl on the line as well. Coleman dragged down after the catch at the 30. Another gain of 5 or 6 for Coleman. Tackled by Holton Hill.
When Holton Hill keeps giving that cushion to Corey Coleman, but if I'm Texas on defense, I'm going to get inside shade for Holton Hill, and I'm going to force Corey Coleman to the sideline and see if Lynx Hawthorne can throw the vertical ball downfield.
Now they got the direct snap set up here with Hawthorne split wide. It's Johnny Jefferson running, and Jefferson powers past the marker to move the chains. Baylor's offensive line starting to lean on Texas right now. Have a lot of success on the ground here in the 2nd half.
I like the approach from Kendall Browse, the offensive coordinator. This is who they are right now, so they've got to come up with a plan that accentuates the strengths of all of these backs and everybody touching the football in the backfield, and they've done it to open up the 3rd quarter here.
It's possible Baylor could get Jarrett Stidham back at quarterback for their bowl game. They have not been to a Sugar Bowl since 1957. They beat Tennessee. Hawthorne rolling out looking to throw and throws it away. That was a smart play by Hawthorne with Jason Hall chasing. Here in Waco at beautiful McLean Stadium on a great day. Temperature in the mid-50s. Laura Rutledge down on the field. Tom Luganbill in the booth. I'm Dave Pash. As mentioned, a spot in a New Year's 6 game at stake for Baylor, playing without Seth Russell, Jarrett Stidham, and now Chris Johnson at quarterback. Texas only 1 score in the last 7 drives after getting off to a great start. They did have 3 takeaways and had good field position because of those turnovers, which certainly helped. And now Terrence Williams is in to take the direct snap here at quarterback. Running the Wildcat on 2nd and 10. And he's across midfield into Texas territory. Forward progress to the 46. 8 yards, 3rd and short coming up at Gus Penning. They keep running the tight end there through the hole to set up the rush lane. Peter Jenkins, who might be their best player on defense, he's out with a knee injury. Malik Jefferson out with an ankle. Hassan Ridgeway out with an ankle. He was a game time decision today. They have injuries on offense as well for Texas. They lead 20-7, 5 minutes to go. 3rd and 2. Jefferson spun down close to the first down marker. Shiro Davis, who's back in after being injured earlier in the game. Looks like it's going to be 4th down.
You take a look at the numbers game for Baylor. See here if Jefferson rolls on and may have rolled at or onto the marker.
Jefferson is in as the quarterback here to take the direct snap on 4th down. Waits, finds the hole, has a first down inside the 40-yard line. Good patience by Johnny Jefferson to get the first down and more.
And he allowed the defensive front 7 to converge on the interior because they're expecting that inside run. And great vision and patience by Jefferson to cut back against the grain.
Now they go back to Lynx Hawthorne. They keep Jefferson in the backfield with them, and Feuerbacher as well to block, but Hawthorne's going to throw, and Coleman goes up high to pull it in. And Coleman knocked down at the 23-yard line. He gets the first down.
Let's see Corey Coleman as he's matched up. Slight little push off there. He certainly gave the impression, though, Dave, that he was going to go vertical on number 5 Holton Hill, and he gets his momentum off of him. No call there.
And this is where it gets interesting when you're checking and you've got this guy in there playing quarterback that's used to being a receiver. Play clock winding down. And Williams nowhere to go. We haven't seen Shock Linwood at all in the second half. Wonder if he might be injured because he was banged up last week. They weren't sure whether he'd be 100% for this game.
He's been dinged for a couple of weeks, certainly, Dave. And again, look at the field here. The field's condensed. That's an advantage, particularly versus the passing game here, which we haven't seen from Baylor for Texas. Makes you really be able to focus on the run game.
16th play of the drive coming up. This possession started around the Baylor 10. Hawthorne will keep. He's inside the 10 and gets picked up and body slammed at the 6-yard line by John Bonney. It'll be 3rd and goal from there.
It's a really good open field tackle in space by John Bonney, and we've seen that from the secondary for Texas all day long. Nothing Lynx Hawthorne could do to make the defender miss. And here we sit with 3rd down.
See Advance Bedford dials up a blitz here. 8 in the box for 3rd and goal. Baylor just 3 of 11 on 3rd down. I'll hand it off, and Williams has nowhere to go. Grabbed at the point of attack by Paul Boyette. All right, your 4th and goal on the 6. You going to just take points here, Lutz?
I would generally say no. The problem is the only way to get them from this vantage point is to throw the football. And how do they do that?
And all the passes have been a yard downfield.
Correct.
You're going to throw it 6 yards downfield here.
Which is a tall order right now for this Baylor offense.
Callahan is 0 for 2 today. This will be a 24-yard attempt. And that gets Baylor within 10 points. Still a ton of time left here in Waco. And the defense for the Bears have been much better. That offensive line for Baylor led by Spencer Durango, 4-year starter playing his final home game. He's an Outland Trophy finalist, an academic All-American, a finance major, will be a high draft pick. Returnable for Dejae Johnson. He stumbles, but has a lot of running room. He's across the 35. Johnson in the Baylor territory. No flags down. Texas will start on Baylor's side of the field. All right, let's test Luke's. Grease has not been good at this all year, so can you do any better? The Aflac trivia question. The last 5 Heisman Trophy winners from the Big 12 have been quarterbacks. So who is the last non-quarterback winner from the Big 12?
Oh.
Did you sneak a look at the answer on the card?
No, but I mean, it's got to have something tied to do with one of these 2 teams, so I'm going to rack my little brain on this one.
It's a good guess, by the way, that it would have to do with one of these 2 teams as we're calling this game. As Chris Warren has grabbed.
Doesn't matter. He said Big 12. It could be somebody else for the Big 12.
A 1-yard pickup. We're going to have to keep you in suspense, I think, Tom, and wait till the 4th quarter.
I think I have it, though.
Greasy just texted in the answer from the Big Ten Championship where he's getting his leadership award. He thought he would lead the way and pick the winner. All right, so that's the end of 3 here in Waco. Can Texas hang on and get its 5th win? They lead by 10. All right, let's answer today's Aflac trivia question. The last 5 Heisman Trophy winners for the Big 12 are quarterbacks. The last non-quarterback winner for the Big 12, Ricky Williams in 1998.
You didn't give me a chance. I told you I had it.
Here's Swoops in trouble. Gets away from one defender. His pass knocked down. Incomplete. Avion Edwards with the pass breakup. So it's 3rd down and 9.
Now, if you're Baylor on defense, you have Texas right where you want them, 3rd and long versus a quarterback that has not been very effective in the passing game outside of his 1st quarter touchdown. This is a huge defensive series after that big return by DJ Johnson, giving Texas his field position.
The Longhorns just 1 of 9 on 3rd down. Jonathan Gray is in the backfield with Swoops. Will Baylor bring pressure here? They rush only 3. They're going to force Swoops to beat him with a throw, and he does, although that's because the guy was wide open. John Burt, he's short of the 1st down, though. Will Texas go for it?
Davey's wide open with nobody around him, and he forces the receiver, Tyrone Swoops that is, to go to the ground to catch this football. And that right there epitomizes Texas on offense the entire season.
Better throw it's a 1st down, right?
Yeah, just give him a chance to catch it. He might run for another 5 to 7 yards.
Here's Swoops, and he's able to power close to the marker. Boy, the spot, though, looks short. They must have ruled that when his knee went down, the ball was short of the marker. It's Baylor ball. Texas doesn't get it. And again, I think that was a poor decision by Charlie Strong to risk it there.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, he definitely.
It's a good spot, and that's a good call by the officiating crew and the line judge and the head linesman. Coming in, you see the leg down and the elbow down right there. Prior to the 38-yard line, Art Briles has got to be pleased with his defense. Baylor knew what was coming, and they executed it.
But again, that last drive for Baylor took 6 or 7 minutes. They had to go the length of the field and settle for a field goal. Why not just punt it? Why bother trying to go for it there?
This may well take that long, too, just from your own 39.
You're in a situation where you can't throw the ball down the field at all. Every time they've tried, the ball's been intercepted because they've got Lynx Hawthorne at quarterback as a wide receiver. Or Johnny Jefferson is in there right now just to take the direct snap and run the ball. Jefferson finds a crease at the 45 into Texas territory. Spun down to the 48 by Devontae Davis, a 12-yard run.
Now, Texas knows what's coming. They've got 7 men in the box plus a single high safety walking down late with no regard for the passing game whatsoever and have not been able to stop the run here in the 3rd quarter and the early going of the 4th.
Jefferson inside the 40. Close to the 37. Now, Tom, you're Texas. You know this is coming when you see those running backs in the backfield. How do you counter defensively?
Well, right now they're going to have to bring that safety out of the middle of the field, and they're going to bring him down into the box. And right now it's number 24, Terrence Singleton. See how high he's set back in his single high set. I'd walk him down right now and force Baylor to have to make a throw one-on-one versus coverage.
And I went to Syracuse. I'm not a math wizard, but 7 is better than 6. And that's what Baylor has against 6 in the box for Texas. And here the Bears pound it again. They had numbers. And it's a 6-yard run inside the 35.
And now what's starting to happen is those defenders that are lined up over the slots right now for Baylor's receivers are starting to peek in the backfield. And when they see run, they're immediately inserting. So what comes off of that? The pop pass to the slot down the seam, if they're so inclined, and the opportunity presents itself.
Now they bring an extra man in the box. And this is interesting. So you got Terrence Williams. They're checking now to the sideline. Anyway, they let him throw the ball here on 2nd and 4.
If you do, it's going to have to go to the top of the screen where you see the defender right there for Texas walking up.
They brought him, but they ran it anyway. And Williams has a first down to the 27. Anthony Wheeler there with Jackson on the tackle, but it's a fresh set of downs for Baylor, down 10 early in the 4th.
Yeah, they end up running the football away from pressure. There's Vance Bedford, the defensive coordinator, trying to hang on right now on defense.
We're told Bryce Cottrell has been injured as well, has gone to the Texas locker room. That's another defender down for the Longhorns. Williams inside the 25. And Timothy Cole gets a hold of him at the 22-yard line. 5 more yards on the ground.
Right now, Baylor's formations are a huge advantage for Texas because they're splitting 2 receivers out to each side so wide out by the numbers that you eliminate 4 defenders before the ball's even snapped. It's all about in-the-box play and whether or not that 7th or 8th defender can make the play against the run for Baylor.
So they're rotating Williams and Jefferson. We're told that Shock Linwood's ankle is bothering him. He's not expected back for Baylor. Jefferson inside the 20. Down to the 13. Another first down for Baylor.
And that's what we're talking about right there. Watch the second level. You get him one-on-one. Jefferson versus number 24 there for the defensive secondary for Texas. And what are you going to do? He's either going to make a miss, you're going to have to make a tackle in the open field. Everybody else is blocked at the point of attack.
Now there's 8 in the box for Texas, and Lynx Hawthorne comes back in. He can throw the ball. He'll hand it off, though, to Jefferson, and again, hard to run against that 8-man front now. He gets a couple to the 10. 2nd down and 8 coming up for Baylor. As you pointed out earlier, those direct snaps a lot harder to do when you get down here.
Right.
And Texas can stack the box. You don't have to worry about that safety too far deep. Right?
Correct. And now you do have that extra defender readily accessible right there at the line of scrimmage to account for the quarterback running the football. See Terrence Singleton, 24 there, walking up into the box.
Jefferson slips a tackle, and he gets down to about the 8. They'll pick up just a couple more. It'll bring up 3rd down. And again, Baylor's in a situation here where they can get 3. They don't have to score the touchdown here. They just want to get some points. So we'll see what they call on 3rd down.
They need to do it quickly here, though, because the clock's continuing to run down. We're going to be under 10 minutes here in just a moment. And 3 points if the clock runs isn't positive.
Baylor trailed 20-0, lost its quarterback Chris Johnson, who was their 3rd-string quarterback, to injury in the first half. So Lynx Hawthorne is in there now, and he'll take off on 3rd down. Looking for the end zone, and he dives for it. They haven't signaled yet. Now they do. Touchdown! It's a Baylor touchdown as Hawthorne got in.
Take a look at Hawthorne here.
What a great play to sneak that ball inside the pylon.
His entire body is elevated. Just look at that.
Oh my goodness.
What a tremendous effort on behalf of Hawthorne. And Dave, to your point, the decision to go for it on 4th down, if you're Texas on that previous offensive drive, may cost them here in the 4th quarter.
Callahan puts it through. It's a 3-point game. 17 unanswered points for Baylor.
17 unanswered points without an attempted pass past 5 yards down the field for this Baylor offense that's had to do it with a workmanlike blue-collar attitude, toughness at the point of attack. 17 unanswered points, down by 3.
Beautiful day in Waco. It was 20-0 Texas, but Baylor has roared back to cut within 3 despite being down to its 4th quarterback and then 2 other guys that are getting the direct snaps. See if they kick it away from DJ Johnson. His last return was fantastic. They do. It'll be Newsom for the Longhorns. And he will not even make it to the 20-yard line. That was well covered by Baylor. There's Warren off the right edge and able to get rid of a defender, fall forward to get the first down at 232 pounds. True freshman, Rockwall, Texas, grew up, was born anyway in Seattle when his dad was playing for the Seahawks. His dad then went to the Cowboys. Chris moved to Dallas, and it was interesting when he was being recruited. There was talk of Charlie Strong being let go, and his parents came out and said, if Charlie Strong is not back, then we're probably going somewhere else. It'll be a lot of Warren here on this drive. He's into Baylor territory. Takes 5 guys to get him down at the 47-yard line, a 5-yard run.
Situational awareness right now for Chris Warren is critical. And what I mean by that is understanding that you are controlling the line of scrimmage in the run game. The ball is in your hands. You've got to stay inbounds. The clock is winding down. And most importantly, ball security.
Seven minutes to go in the 4th. Texas hanging on to a 3-point lead. It's Warren again straight ahead. He'll be short of the first down. Stopped at the 44 by Taylor Young. This might set the modern-day Big 12 record for running plays between the tackles. Between these two. They're so used to throwing it all over the place, but because there's no quarterbacks in this game, they're just running it ahead, straight ahead.
Or fewest passes attempted past 5 yards for both teams.
Right. When is the last pass downfield by either team in this game?
My memory doesn't go back that far, Dave.
3rd and 2. Swoops. Again drops back to throw, and he's got Beck again for a first down inside the 40 at the 38-yard line.
Thank goodness for the execution of this offense on this drive, because that play in the previous conversion is the play once again they should have called on 4th down when they didn't convert. This is off into the flat. This is an offshoot of their 18-wheeler package where you've got 47, 42, and 36 in the backfield along with Tyrone Swoops. Predominantly run formation. They throw it well on this drive.
You saw that look at Jay Norvell as the play caller. So when he dials up here for Swoops on first down inside the 40-yard line, they're going to keep it in his hands. And Swoops is free, breaking a tackle and getting a first down to the 26-yard line. A 12-yard run for Tyrone Swoops.
This is reminiscent of exactly what Texas did when they started to take control of the game versus Oklahoma. They got into this offensive set. Everybody in the stadium knew what they were going to do, and they did it anyway. And now Tyrone Swoops has got to take control of this game, make smart decisions with the football.
Swoops to the 25, a short game, but that clock is moving. We're going to be inside 5 minutes on the next snap.
For all of the criticism, Dave, of this Texas offense, credit does need to go to Jay Norvell, the play caller. When he became in charge of this offense, he did 2 things. He simplified and he created an identity, and that identity is we're going to find a way to run the football and mask our weaknesses, and he has done that.
Norvell took over for Sean Watson, who's still on the staff coaching quarterbacks, but it's expected that Watson, perhaps Norvell and some others will be relieved of their duties after this game. Good play as Warren is cut down. Taylor Young was back there for the Bears, and so he didn't get anything on that play. It'll bring up 3rd down and long. Meanwhile, Texas with its longest drive of the game, just over 5 minutes. They converted twice on third down on this drive. They had only one third down conversion all game. Swoops in the shotgun, and he pitches it. Warren gets outside, and did he get the first down? No, he stepped out. He stepped out at the 19, 3 yards short, bringing up fourth down. Good call.
Yep.
Definitely out, so Texas will try a field goal. Nick Rose has been good from 23, and how about that 53-yarder? How important that make was by Rose earlier in the game.
Well, absolutely huge. We talked about just how important, just 3 points, how big that was at that time, and it's looming large right now.
37-yard try. And it's good. So Texas leads by 6, but it's possible that Baylor could win the game on its next possession. 3:59 on the clock. And the Longhorns trying to finish the season 5-7. Extend their lead to 6. College Football Playoff Selection Committee about an hour and a half away in Grapevine, Texas, watching all the games today. 12 o'clock tomorrow on ESPN Eastern Time. We'll know who the 4 college football playoff teams are. Hey, we might know after tonight because those teams might all win. Oklahoma's already in for all intents and purposes. We have a touchback that'll come out to the 25 for Baylor. It links Hawthorne in at quarterback, replacing the injured Chris Johnson, who was shaken up in the first half. We've seen Hawthorne, Johnny Jefferson, Terrence Williams taking direct snaps. Play clock winding down. 75 yards away from tying the game, perhaps taking the lead. Hawthorne rolling out and try to dump it off to Cannon. A one-hopper. Incomplete.
Just as I was about to say, we're going to see a heavy dose of Hawthorne remaining at quarterback for this drive because he's the only one that's got any experience throwing the football. He throws it right in the dirt.
And we haven't seen Corey Coleman get a touch here in a while. He was active early in the third quarter, but of late they have not thrown it to him. They put him in the backfield a couple times to hand it off to him. Hawthorne will hand it off to Jefferson. He gets to about the 30. Picks up 5. 3rd and 5 coming up here for the Bears. They have 2 timeouts remaining. 3:40 on the clock.
And it's sooner or later, as you continue to see Corey Coleman, he's matched up versus Devante Davis, a true freshman on the perimeter, be towards the top of your screen with no safety help in the middle of the field, whether it's a double move, a slant and go, hitch and go. Give him a chance downfield one-on-one to win the matchup versus Texas and try and get an explosive play here.
We're going to keep it on the ground with Jefferson. He has no shot. Only a 1-yard pickup. Paul Boy out of the tackle, and Art Briles knows he's got to go for it here on 4th down and 4.
4th and 4, and the clock is running on you. You're essentially left with no choice but to throw it. I'd move the pocket here. Change the launch point. Make the quarterback, Lynx Hawthorne, a run-pass threat on the perimeter.
That's possible. You could still punt it with your timeouts, get the ball back, but you wouldn't have a lot of time in the clock. You used the timeout earlier, so you have 2 left. So Briles electing to go on 4th and 4.
A lot of time coming off the clock here, Dave.
Hawthorne will hand it off, and Jefferson has the first down. He fumbled the ball. Texas recovers. Poona Ford has made plays all game, comes up with a recovery at the 43-yard line after Jefferson had picked up the first down.
Poona Ford, undersized defensive tackle from his position, just swipes at the football. You see number 95 there. Ends up recovering the ball as well.
The takeaway that Charlie Strong's team needed. Texas ball, 2:31 on the clock. That's a feeling echoed throughout McLean Stadium right now by Baylor fans. trailing by 6. They could still get the ball back if they can get a stop. Here's Chris Warren down to the 40. Baylor will take a timeout. The last 4 games, they're -12 in turnover ratio. That's the worst during that span in all of college football after being in the top 5 through the first 8 games.
When you're playing teams like Oklahoma State, like TCU, like Oklahoma, you turn the football over, you're not going to have a lot of success.
Here's Warren. And Warren has stood up at the 39 for no gain. So Baylor will call its final timeout. 2:20 on the clock. 3rd down coming up. Baylor trying to get the football back and hope for a prayer to win a game and get into a New Year's 6 game. Otherwise, it's probably Oklahoma State, based on tiebreakers, that would get the 2nd spot in Big 12 and replace Oklahoma in the Sugar Bowl. Here's Warren taken down to the 41. So the clock will run. Texas will punt the ball here. And they'll snap it with about 1:36 or 7 on the clock.
Now they're really going to put Baylor in a difficult situation, as we talked about throughout the game. On their 4th quarterback now, who's a receiver, Lynx Hawthorne. How do they throw the football to get back into this without a timeout? A critical punting situation here, Dave, for Texas to not allow this ball to go into the end zone.
First things first, Dixon going to try to pin Coleman deep. Now, Coleman has signaled for a fair catch almost every time. I wonder if they're giving him the green light here to try to return one. Baylor going to come after the punt here. It bounces inside the 10. Texas is all over it. Baylor's going to have to go 96 yards. Great job by Dixon. Chris Boyd was down there for the Longhorns to make sure it didn't go into the end zone. So now they get Lynx Hawthorne, essentially their 4th-string quarterback.
And a multitude of explosive plays from all of their perimeter players, and that hasn't been the case here today.
They had a 97-yard touchdown drive earlier this season with Russell at quarterback. Hawthorne with a quick throw. They set up the screen for Cannon. He gets out of bounds, so they get about 8 there to the 12-yard line. Only take a few seconds off the clock, and they just keep doing that downfield.
Well, what they're going to end up having to do is take a shot downfield. We talked earlier before about Corey Coleman, Katie Cannon. They're matched up against true freshmen on the perimeter for Texas here on defense.
Hawthorne going to take off and run. First downs will stop the clock. Hawthorne inside the 40 down to the 42. Elliott on the tackle. The clock will stop with 1:12 to go. They're at their own 42-yard line. No timeouts for the Bears. Now the clock begins on the ready for play. Hawthorne will throw, in trouble, being chased. And he throws it away. That ball did not get past the line of scrimmage. He was outside the pocket. Was there a receiver in the area? No, there was not. That's why they're going to call grounding here.
Baylor coaches right now trying to point to K.D. Cannon on the sideline as being in the vicinity. He might have crept into the vicinity late, though.
Intentional grounding on the offense. Be a loss of down at the spot of the foul. It'll be 3rd down.
It's a big play there. Again, Hawthorne not used to doing this. Probably didn't know what he's supposed to do rule-wise. You got to get it past the 42. He was just throwing it out of bounds.
That's the issue, is you see Terrence Williams, number 22, the tailback, in front of him, but he throws it out of bounds well before the line of scrimmage.
And now it's 3rd down and 26. Excuse me, 2nd down and 26 with 1:02 remaining. Here's Coleman, big hole. Can he keep his feet? He does. He's at the 45 and pushed out of bounds near midfield. How does Texas let that happen?
Well, what does Baylor do? They put the ball into the hands of their best player, make sure it starts with him. They're going to put him right back in the backfield next to Terrence Williams right now. And look at these guys running with some tempo without a true quarterback as Lynx Hawthorne comes back in.
3rd and 2. Williams is slammed to the ground by Paul Boyette for a loss. It's 4th and 3, and they got to hustle. They got to run a play, but they got to make sure they're set. They got to get to the 48 of Texas. Clock's at 40 seconds. Taking a lot of time off the clock. Hawthorne throws. Here's Cannon, and he gets the first down and steps out to stop the clock with 30 seconds left at the Texas 46.
And Baylor was confused there. A multitude of receivers aligned up, close to being illegally aligned, and Corey Coleman did not know what the play was as the number 3 inside receiver out of the slot.
They got Hawthorne under center here. Quick throw, and Jay Lee was going to pass the ball. And now he's in trouble, and he goes down. Baylor's got to hurry and get up and snap the ball. They were trying to set up a double pass. Lynx Hawthorne, the quarterback, ran downfield, but he was double covered. 12 seconds left. Hawthorne spikes it to stop the clock with 10 seconds to go. So they were going to do the trick play, Tom, but Texas read it well. And
that's a play that they initially had run with RG3 in the early days of Art Briles' tenure here at Baylor, where you throw the ball and the quarterback actually goes through the line of scrimmage to sneak out. Texas stayed at home in the defensive back end, and now, Dave, the question becomes, do you have the arm to actually get the ball downfield to put yourself in a position here?
Aaron Rodgers ain't walking through that door.
No, he is not.
10 seconds left. Hawthorne looks like a punt, and it is broken up with 4 seconds left. Davion Hall had a chance to pull it in.
If he doesn't double catch or make an attempt on the double catch right there and comes down with this football, Baylor's in good shape.
Although you wonder if he catches it, do they have enough time to get down there? They would stop the clock and reset the chains, but then on the ready for play, can you get under there with a guy who's not used to spiking the ball and do it in time? And actually, Hawthorne's not in the game. They probably said, who's got the best arm? And they think it's Johnny Jefferson, so they put him in.
Or they're going to do some short throws and try and lateral this thing downfield if they feel that's an even better option to juggle the ball around a little bit amongst their playmakers.
Texas has 3 men deep. Here goes Jefferson, and he's going to fire it into traffic, and it is intercepted, and the game is over. They rule incomplete, but it doesn't matter. Zeros on the clock, and Texas wins. The Longhorns finished the season 5-7. In an otherwise terrible year for Texas, they beat both Oklahoma and Baylor. For Tom Luganville, Laura Rutledge, I'm Dave Pasch. College Hoops up next. Arizona and Gonzaga. Dan Schulman.